What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we're taking a look at the top 8 deck lists from the special event Bilbao in Spain that happened on May 7th with just under 300 Masters Division players. There were notable competitors such as Tord Reklev, Pedro Torres, and Stefan Ivanov that played in this event and placed pretty well. And there were 3 major events that happened this past weekend. I played at Indianapolis, there was Bilbao in Spain, and Joinville in Brazil. So before we hop in and look at the top 8 deck lists from this event, including a list from Tord Reklev himself, shout out to my sponsors, PotonStore.com and CardTrooperGames.com. You can use code Celio for 5% off at both of those sites. PokemonCard.io, where you can share and view deck lists. Beast Coast Pokemon, a collaborative YouTube channel made up of myself and other Pokemon content creators, and also my newest affiliation, which is Dragon Shield Sleeves. You can find links for all of that in the description down below, and be sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on the video. Something notable about these results is that Tord Reklev was the only Urshifu Inteleon player to top 8 in any of the 3 major events that occurred this past weekend. There was an Arceus Sylveon Urshifu VMAX kind of toolbox deck that top 8'd in one of the other events. But this was the only like Urshifu Inteleon deck that did really well over the weekend. But let's start at the 8th place Mew list. So James here piloted it to a top 8 finish, and we'll see that they played the only special energy version, really not leaving any respect to Whimsicott. Also not playing Oricorio, so some pretty standard cards at this point, being the Psychic Energy, the Training Court, the Oricorio. They're also only playing 2 stadiums, so just not really respecting a lot of the stuff in the meta that most Mew players have respected, and it paid off to not respect those things and just be aggressive and build towards the intrinsic power of Mew VMAX. They did play 1 Marnie to try messing up the Drizzle decks, so they did kind of respect the meta in that way. But a very interesting card here is Hero's Medal. Hero's Medal is a Pokemon tool that reads the Pokemon VMAX this card is attached to gets minus 100 HP, and if it is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, that player takes 1 fewer prize card. So it makes your Mew VMAX have 210 HP, but it is now only a 2 prizer essentially. So a very interesting card that I admittedly have not ever tried in a Mew VMAX deck. I'm not sure if I would go ahead and try it now. It seems quite gimmicky, but it worked well for James in the Bilbao special event. Also playing the triple rope 1 switch split, which I also played in Indianapolis. The Pal Pad, I don't really like Pal Pad in Mew because it's too slow in my opinion. You just want a lot of cards that do things that you can burn. Try to make most of your Mew deck all gas, in my opinion at least, but we do have 1 Pal Pad in this list. Next, we have Dario, who played the same list that Ian Robb won Indianapolis with. So we already have looked at this list on the channel, but it is an Arceus Inteleon toolbox deck with Baby Moltres, Big Moltres, Hoopa V, Galarian Zapdos V, Medicham V, and then some also some interesting trainer counts like 2 Energy Search and 2 Energy Switch to be able to move around your energy and also search them out for your multiple attackers that are used in various situations. Next, we have a straight water Arceus Inteleon deck piloted by Pedro to a 6th place here. Pretty standard as well with the 3 Path to the Peak, 1 Collapse, your split of Choice Belt Big Charm. Ordinary Rod is great for getting the Dunsparce Manaphy combo back and also getting your water energy back against Whimsicott V-Star. The double Charon's Care making this just a very straightforward, we're only focusing on Arceus here kind of deck. So those 2 Charon's Cares help you just force your opponent to be able to one-shot a 310 Arceus, and if they don't, it turns out that you're going to heal that Arceus. And then you just keep doing that over and over. And also playing the Melanie and Raihan for energy recursion and energy acceleration. as well as just being generally good supporter cards. Even if you don't need energy back, Melanie draws 3 and accelerates an energy, even if that energy is extra. And Raihan is good because you can accelerate to the Inteleon with Aqua Bullet. And between this, the quick shooting Inteleon, and Galarian Zigzagoon, you can take multi-prize turns against a deck like Rapid Strike Malamar. Although that deck is falling off, this deck is capable of taking care of it with the Raihan plus Aqua Bullet, and then also having Collapse Stadium for a little bit of disruption against that deck. Next, we have 5th place Lucas, also with Arceus and Teleon, but this is going to be the dark version with 2 Baby Galarian Moltres, not choosing to play Hoopa V, just using the Dunsparce Manaphy combo as their Urshifu tech. Now, I do kind of like just putting in Hoopa V instead of Manaphy here, but then that also means you want like an air balloon switch or rope, which might be the issue that this player got into with deck building around that. Just because the Hoopa V can be useful against Galarian Zapdos, it can be useful against Lucario V-Star, it can be useful against Mew VMAX, whereas the Manaphy is pretty much only good against Rapid Strike Urshifu. At least in the current meta. There's no Jolteon VMAX happening right now, so pretty much just good against that one card, whereas Hoopa V gets more value. But Manaphy is also a little easier to toss in there because you don't have the 2 retreat messing you up like Hoopa V does. So I understand that to a point, but I think if I played this list, I would have probably just dropped the second Scoop Up Net or the second court for a rope and then make the Manaphy a Hoopa V. In top 4, we have Mateo with Mew VMAX. Again, all special energy, but this player is playing the Oricorio, and they are also playing 4 stadiums, those stadiums being Tower of Darkness. These are used in Mew VMAX just as a way to have extra stadiums to bump Path to the Peak, and then if you're not in a Path to the Peak matchup, you can just discard the stadiums with themselves to draw extra cards. So I've never been a huge fan of the Tower of Darkness version of Mew VMAX, but it does have some results, and at the end of the day, I don't think it's horribly different than just Rose Towers, but it does kind of force you almost to play 4 stadiums, but they don't clunk up as bad since you can discard them if you have another one in play to draw some cards. On 3rd place, we have Yuji from Great Britain. I haven't been looking at the countries, but we have a few Italian players. We have one from Norway being toured, Sweden, Australia, Portugal, and Great Britain. So a nice little combination of different countries representing at this event. Here we have Arceus and Teleon with the dark stuff. 13 energy, trying not to whiff energy attachments. And this list is playing the Hoopa V. They are also playing Crobat V, but no Crobat V Max. And because of the Hoopa V, you'll see that they have cut the Manaphy. Although they are not playing a way to retreat or switch out of Hoopa V starts, so I think they're just kind of taking that really poor start when it happens, although it is not going to happen often since they do have, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Pokemon, and there's only that one Hoopa V that they don't want to start with. The Hoopa V starts are going to be very rare on average. And then we have Tord in 2nd place with Rapid Strike, Urshifu, VMAX, and Teleon again. Staying pretty similar to his original list with the 1-1 Octillery. I'm still not a huge fan of the 1-1 Octillery. I feel like you can just get that Rapid Strike energy with Piers or Raihan. And then that's just one more 1-1 line of Pokemon you're trying to set up. You have, you want to get your Sobbles down, your Urshifu VMAX down. In my opinion, the deck already struggles with consistency, and Octillery, although it can get you like a Rapid Strike energy, it's not actually filling your hand up with cards and other kinds of options. So I've never been a fan of the Octillery, but it does seem to work for Tord, so there's got to definitely be some kind of merit there to playing this. Other than that, though, no notable differences between his past Urshifu lists and this current one from what I can see. Still playing the Manaphy for the mirrors, which I believe he was already playing back at EUIC. And then in first place, we have Alessandro Cremascoli with Whimsicott V-Star. Shadow Rider Calyrex V is something I was trying for Whimsicott V-Star leading up to Indianapolis, because if you go second, you can try to just balloon into a Shadow Mist, and then essentially try to pause the game for a couple turns with Shadow Mist in certain matchups. Because if you attach the Shadow Rider Calyrex V and Shadow Mist, that means you're not attaching to Whimsicott, so then you have to take the next turn to attach to Whimsicott, unless, of course, the Shadow Rider gets knocked out, then you XP share or Raihan. But it's just kind of like to try to pause the game state when you have to go second. Um, I think I might just like the Zacian V better from Celebrations, so that you can just accelerate to two Whimsicott Vs, make them pick which one to go for, and then the other one gets to start attacking. I think it might just be more effective after testing this myself leading up to Indianapolis, but other than that, nothing too crazy in the list outside of Shadow Rider Calyrex V. And congrats on a first place with Whimsicott V-Star. So that is the top 8 of the special event Bilbao that happened on May 7th, just under 300 players in the standard format. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about deck lists here that I did not cover, be sure to leave it in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.